All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a financial product that has been absolutely blowing up social media feeds with some truly massive numbers. It's called ULT, and it promises something pretty much every investor dreams of. Yeah, you've probably seen a number just like this floating around, right? An annualized yield north of 80%. I mean, a number so high it honestly looks like a typo. But it's not. It's real, and it is absolutely designed to make you stop scrolling. And because of that crazy yield, people are calling it a cheat code for your finances. The whole idea is that you can unlock this insane, steady stream of income that just shows up in your account way more often than a typical dividend stock. Okay, so let's really dig into that promise. We're looking at the YieldMax Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF. Yeah, that's a mouthful, so we'll just call it by its ticker, ULT. Its main selling point is incredibly simple, and you have to admit, it's pretty powerful. I mean, the appeal is super obvious, isn't it? We're talking about a fire hose of weekly cash flow. Not once a quarter, not once a year, every single week. If you're someone looking to generate income from your portfolio, this sounds like hitting the jackpot. But here it is, the big question. Where is all this money actually coming from? And what's the catch? Because let's be real, with numbers this huge, there is always a catch. And believe me, this one's a doozy. Okay, so the main problem here is something called NAV decay. And in plain English, all that really means is that while the fund is mailing you these big, juicy checks, the actual value of what you own, the share price itself, is slowly bleeding out. It's shrinking. And this is the part that you really have to wrap your head around. This isn't some side effect or a mistake in the code. No. This NAV decay, it's a feature, not a bug. It's baked right into the DNA of how this financial machine is built. All right, so how does this machine actually work? Let's pop the hood and get our hands a little dirty. To really get why the fund's value tends to drop, we gotta understand how it's making all that cash to begin with. You know, a really good way to think about this thing is as a machine that's built for one specific purpose, to take the wild up and down price swings of stocks, what the pros call volatility, and turn it into cold, hard cash in your pocket. So the engine that powers this machine, it's a strategy called a covered call. Let me break it down. Imagine the fund owns a stock. It then basically sells a contract that says, hey, I'll give up the chance for this stock to go to the moon. In exchange for giving up that huge potential upside, the fund gets paid cash right here, right now. That cash payment is called a premium. And boom, right there, that's the core trade-off. See, if the stock absolutely skyrockets, the fund's gain is capped. It gets left in the dust. But if the stock tanks, well, that little cash premium it collected barely makes a dent in the loss. So you're essentially trading away your big wins, but you're still on the hook for the big losses. Now imagine doing that over and over and over, week after week. What happens? Well, you get these three structural problems that just constantly push down on the fund's value. You systematically miss out on all the big rallies. The little bit of cash you get isn't nearly enough to protect you from the big drops. And on top of all that, you've got high fees and trading costs just constantly nibbling away at your capital. So all of this leads us to maybe the single most important idea you need to grasp if you're ever going to look at a fund like ULTY. And that's the huge difference between the cash yield you see and your actual total return. And here's a really critical detail you have to watch out for. Those huge payments you're getting, a lot of the time they include something called return of capital. And you know what? It's exactly what it sounds like. The fund isn't always paying you profits. Sometimes it's just giving you your own money back and calling it a distribution. Yeah, you heard that right. And this chart really just says it all, doesn't it? On the one side, you've got that monster headline yield, the number that gets everyone excited. But then you look at the other side, the total return. That's what actually happened to your investment once you subtract the falling share price. And that number, well, it's a lot less exciting. It can even be negative. So listen, if you take away one thing from this, let it be this. The cash that hits your bank account is not the same as your profit. They are two totally different things. And confusing them, well, that's the biggest trap with a product like this. Okay, so after all of that, who on earth is a product like ULTY actually for? Is it a clever tool for a savvy investor, or is it basically a trap waiting to be sprung? Well, let's be clear. For a very specific kind of person, maybe this works. The tactical trader who needs a massive cash stream right now and fully understands and accepts that they're probably eating into their initial investment to get it. But for the average person, the long-term investor who's trying to grow their nest egg over years and years, yeah, this is almost certainly not the tool for that job. So, the next time you see some crazy high-yield product flashing across your screen, just run it through this quick 4-step checklist. 1. Actually read what the fund says it's trying to do. 2. Pull up the price chart and see if it's just going down, down, down. 3. Check the fees. They're probably high. And 4, the most important one, ask yourself, what job am I hiring this investment to do for me? And really, that just leaves us with the one core question you've got to ask yourself anytime you see the next big cheat code investment. Are you trying to build a portfolio that spits out cash for you to spend today, even if it's your own money? Or are you trying to build long-term compounding wealth for your future? Your answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know.